Hello perfume loving friends, 'tis I, Jasper here again from top10fragrances.com. I want to talk to you today about a product and a perfume house that's kind of slightly under the radar in my opinion, and unjustly so as well, because they produce some incredibly beautiful perfumes using very high quality ingredients. The house we're talking about is Galimard, and the perfume we're talking about today is 1747 by Galimard, which is there, as you can see. That's the bottle. Very classic looking bottle as well actually, and a very, very unfussy box. That comes as 100 milliliter, which that was eau de parfum. They do 100 milliliter eau de toilette, which is refillable as well. They do a 250 milliliter bottle, a 500 milliliter bottle, and you can actually buy this in a litre bottle. I don't know what would you do, bathe in it? I'm not quite sure, but a litre bottle you can buy this in. So that's incredible. It's a really difficult brand to talk about in the sense that there's not huge amounts of information about Galimard out there. In actual fact, I discovered this particular perfume because I went down there to do a course to learn how to make perfumes. My wife and myself decided we wanted to make our own perfumes, and we needed some sort of information about how you do that. Did a course down there, and it was absolutely fascinating. They're lovely people down there as well actually, and there's a huge choice of very, very fine perfumes which they sell in their little shop, but they don't seem to sell it anywhere else really. So it's definitely a niche brand, notwithstanding the fact that their perfumes are very, very classy. They're very, very old school in the sense that they use the classic French style in making their perfumes. They're not particularly cutting edge and contemporary, which some perfume houses are. But that doesn't mean to say it's not a niche house. It's very difficult to get their product as well, so the chances are you will be the only person in the party or at the party wearing one of their perfumes. So that to me tells me it's a niche brand. There's no gimmicks, there's no advertising with this particular house. So it was founded in 1747, hence the name of this particular perfume, by a chap called Jean de Galimard, who was titled Lord de Saronnon. So he had an aristocratic title. After a little while they started to get a bit of a name for themselves. In the 18th century people used to wear perfumed gloves, and this particular house was very good at making these perfumed gloves, and ended up supplying the French royal family before they had their heads lopped off in the Revolution. So, you know, they do have a heritage, a very, very strong history as well. The oldest perfume house in France, so that tells me something straight away. With the notes of this particular perfume, you have an opening of lemon, bergamot and lavender, which is incredibly well blended, so you don't actually smell either or any of those particular single ingredients in the opening. It's just got a real fresh, clean opening. Heart with a touch of florals, beautiful cedar, moss and musk base, which has a hint of ocean about it. It's quite a difficult one to describe, but it's really quite interesting. Not cutting edge, interesting in a classy kind of way, in a classic sort of way. It's a classic men's cologne, I think, this one. The sort of cologne that you would smell, or the sort of perfume you would smell if you walked past a wealthy, well-heeled French businessman on the Montmartre on Wednesday afternoon. It's just real classic stuff. So let's talk about how the thing smells. And as I said, when I was talking about the notes, there's an initial sort of whoosh of an opening with this. It's really, really, really quite clean, quite warm, and very, very fresh. But the thing about this perfume is it kind of changes very, very quickly. You get the whoosh, then the dry down almost instantly. So it's very, very well balanced. And then there's that sort of C note hanging in the background. Almost fuzzy and warm, but fresh at the same time. It's almost a contradiction, this particular perfume. I love it. I think it's incredible. If you want something that's going to shout out and tell people you're very different and you're incredibly funky, this is not the perfume for you. But if you want a perfect perfume where you've got to meet top-end business colleagues or something, or some wealthy people, this is perfect because it's just subtle but oozes class. I think if you were to give this to somebody who didn't really know their perfumes and got them to smell this, they would fall in love with it straight away. It is that attractive. It's not different, but it's just hugely attractive in a classic kind of way. So finding out information about this particular house is really hard work. And guys, if you do have any information, I would really appreciate your help, because as much information as you can give me, I can take in. Please, send me anything you have about Galimard as a house, if you have anything. Just go onto our website, www.top10fragrances.com, and we would really appreciate it. To get hold of this, you need to go to Galimard themselves. You can get hold of it from Parfums MDP, our old friends in France. So www.parfumsmdp.com. They said it there. Very, very refreshing in the sense that it's a refreshing perfume anyway, but it's really, really not. It's not expensive. It's incredible value for money as well. So that's my little review on a perfume that is kind of under the radar, as I said. It's not really sort of reviewed too much. You can't find that much information about it. But 1747 by Galimard, or 1747, absolutely incredible stuff. And they make a lot of nice perfumes, this house, guys. So yeah, if you hear anything or know anything about Galimard that I haven't mentioned in this little review, please drop me a line and I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week for the next review.